Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans. So depending on when you're watching this show, we have Remembrance Day that is happening this week, and the Poppy campaign is in full force. So all across Durham, there's opportunities in different locations to be able to get yourself your poppy or poppies. Also, at the end of the show, we're going to list the different ceremonies that are going on that you will be able to join for Remembrance Day. Now, we have a great show going on. CMHA will be on the show talking about different resources and some tools and tricks that you can use to help you to deal with some of the overwhelming issues or issues that are going on around the world that can be overwhelming to take in, to process. So some great tips there. We also have Adam Ruppel on the show of Chico Racing. He will be talking about Drive Festival. He will also be talking about some awesome opportunities for mountain bike racing within the Uxbridge community. Also about performance racing. We'll be talking about that. So keep on watching. We'll be back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Michaela is loving, caring, energetic. She's adventurous. She's fearless. The Worms have been there from the start with financial assistance with her first prosthetic.
It's very important for Michaela to have access to these different devices so that she's able to do everything that anybody else can do.
We can't thank people enough for donating to the key tag service.
Thank you!
I'm Eric Marchino's Cinema Scene in Review. Join me for a monthly movie roundup of new releases either in theaters or available to stream. See you next time in Review.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So I'm with Alec King of CMHA, and we're talking about an initiative that CMHA Ontario, not necessarily an initiative, but an educational piece that it's coming out because of the wars that are going on currently.
That's right.
So yeah, give me a little bit more information as to why CMHA thought it was really important to educate people about this subject.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, always great to have you on.
It's we're here to talk about the kind of stress and anxiety people experience when they're seeing that kind of constant 24-hour media coverage of some pretty terrible and awful things.
Yeah.
So people find themselves inundated with stressful and anxiety-inducing images all the time, things that can be very, very overwhelming, and things that can actually make it difficult for you to process everything that you're seeing that's going on. So we're encouraging people to find a way to put tools in place. They're going to help them manage that kind of stress and anxiety and be able to do something positive with those feelings.
That's beautiful, and I think it is so important. I don't even watch the news anymore because I have a hard time
Absolutely.
Dealing with that. And if you're inundating yourself with all of those images, it makes life, your reality, seem like it's dark, it's heavy, there's so much sadness and overwhelmment.
Yep.
And it's really important as to what you're focusing on, because
Absolutely.
what you're focusing on is more of what you're going to get and what your reality seems to be.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's why we're encouraging people to think about the places they're getting their news from.
Okay.
So if you are someone who still wants to stay tuned in and connected with information, make sure that you're going with quality news sources that aren't sensationalizing things, that aren't going for the lowest kind of thing, just kind of jumping out and getting you, because so much of that kind of image can be really numbing, really horrifying. Look at something that's giving you information that you find valuable, that's something that you can do with and kind of put it out in a helpful way to you.
I don't know if you're allowed to answer this, but is there a station or a network or a program that you recommend for quality not sensationalized info?
I would say anything that you can kind of handpick what you're getting. There's a lot of news stations that you'll see where they will have 2 or 3 or 4 things happening all on the screen at the same time. And some people, that's great. Some people process that really well, but other people find that is too much information. Yeah. And you are seeing on one screen one kind of horrible thing, and then on another screen something else that is also distressing or upsetting or depressing. So just having, like you said, having all those kind of information all the time, all at once, can just, it paints the way you see your world and your reality.
Right.
So by picking something that doesn't give you that kind of expression, that makes you feel better about it, can really be helpful. So something that's giving you one source, that's just the information you need, just the information you want, is really, really important.
Okay, something else I wanted to bring up, because I know you have a wonderful app that you want to share, is the amount of screen time that we're having. So, you know, even looking at various social media things all the time, you can get so sucked into this never-ending hole of information, and then an hour has passed, 2 hours have passed. We could have been way more productive doing something else.
Exactly.
And maybe that something else was meditating, right?
Yep.
Maybe it's getting away from the media. And especially if there's something as tragic as what's going on within the world and you want to stay up to date, you could so easily just be sucked in that hole. Absolutely. And where we are, it can almost be addicting. Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about this app and what it's called?
Well, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I can't think of how many times I've started looking for something and got caught up on something else and just got dragged down by it.
Right.
So we're encouraging people to look at ways to kind of limit the amount of interaction they have with their phone, kind of be very discerning and clear about what you're getting from it. So one thing we recommend is the use of a tool called, it's an app called Freedom. The idea is that it helps you set limitations on what you're getting from your phone at different times. It can help increase productivity so that you're not getting alerts from Twitter or Instagram, things like that. And it can also restrict your access. Because I don't know about you, but I'm terrible in terms of like actually limiting what I do. So
me too. Yeah, and I always just,
I'll just check Instagram real quick.
And then
exactly.
an hour later, I'm like,
Yep, so I actually have it set so that Instagram is off after, I think it's 6 o'clock at night. So after that point, no Instagram, I can't see it, and it means that I don't get any of those kind of things, kind of like, anything that might catch me into that hole kind of thing.
Wow.
Twitter's off way earlier than that, because Twitter is just a bit of a hole right now. So
all right.
Yeah, anything that kind of keeps you from being weighed down with that. But Freedom's a great tool for that because it simplifies the process and makes it a lot easier for people to kind of limit those interactions and stick with the things that they find positive and productive.
Okay, I was getting a little bit overwhelmed thinking about my Instagram going off at 6 o'clock. So that's probably why I need the app. And then if people are, they're wanting to stay in the know and they are watching the news, or they're just simply, maybe they're having a hard time processing what's going on in the news, or just having a hard time with anything going on in their life. We only have 30 seconds. Not a lot of time.
No.
What is that program? It's something called Connex Ontario.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a
20 seconds or less.
Toll-free service all across Canada. You can also connect with text called Connex Ontario, where people can connect and reach out for services for assistance with anxiety, stress, substance use, and gambling addictions as issues as well. Also, I would recommend people reach out to CMHA Durham if you're looking for help or support here in our community, and we can help you get connected and kind of process those feelings and emotions.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alec. Always great to have you on the show. Lots of great information. We'll be back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
All I wanted was to see a movie. One down, please.
I can't sell downstairs tickets to you people.
How dare they? I could afford to buy the more expensive ticket. I run my own business. But they refused to take my money. They left me there all night.
On what charge?
They said I didn't pay the theater tax. But it was really about color.
Sister Desmond, appeal this conviction and your community will stand behind you.
Do you have any idea what this will do to us?
So what are you going to do?
Make it right.
Viola Desmond's case inspired Nova Scotia's civil rights movement. She was pardoned 63 years later based on the injustice of her conviction.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I have Adam Ruppel in the house of Chico Racing, who is also a resident of Uxbridge. And I'm so excited to have you on the show. We actually met during a dog walk.
Right.
The people that you meet.
Walking dogs, right?
Walking dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Your dogs are bigger than mine.
Yes, I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, right.
My dogs are big.
My dog has a very big personality, though.
Yes, T-Rex.
He does, T-Rex, and a big name.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son named him.
His name properly.
Perfect.
That was really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to have you on the show because you are not only an avid mountain biker,
right,
but you create these amazing races for, and we have a huge mountain biking community here in Uxbridge, and not only for just the residents of Uxbridge, Scugog, people from all over.
People from Toronto, the GTA. Yeah, and really it started back in 1984, really when mountain bikes first sort of came onto the market, and I wanted to go on a dirt bike. I wanted a dirt bike when I was 12, and my dad's like, no, I'm not going to get you a dirt bike, but I'm going to get you a pedal bike. And so I started exploring the whole area and riding mountain bikes, and then I started becoming a racer myself, and then that kind of just kept going on into trail building and then creating races. And from about 1994 on, I've been running mountain bike events, building trails. My brother has he put his own company together, so he runs some mountain bike events as well. And we've been doing it for our entire lives. So.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you.
Right.
And all of the incredible volunteers that have made it possible for Uxbridge to be known as Canada's trail capital.
Right. And and there's a lot of people behind that. You know, I sort of started the first mountain bike trails in Uxbridge, but I haven't been building them for the last 15 years. That's really been Dimba. And there have been a lot of people like John McCutcheon and Brad Buckles that have been behind getting a lot of these properties together. So now we have like an infrastructure of trail network between, from mountain biking, between Durham Forest, Glen Major, and Dagmar that you can ride 60 kilometers of single track.
That's incredible.
So yeah, we are the trail capital of Canada, and we've got some new things happening for the town that's going to pump it up even more for cycling.
That is absolutely incredible. Ken, let's talk about that.
Well,
what's the next thing coming down? It's a provincial park. Right?
Yeah, it's an urban provincial park that's happening. It's on the Gan Eden lands south of Uxbridge. So I think the plan, in the master plan, they're talking about integrating some more mountain bike trails in. So those lands are actually going to integrate into all of the other mountain bike trails to really sort of pump up the whole town. And I think the plan, well, it's very, very new because we just got the announcement that we're having the provincial park. But I think the plan would be to have trails that are a little bit different than the Dagmar. The Dagmar and Durham Forest and Glen Major properties, so would allow for like families and different kind of mountain biking that would happen at that property.
That's incredible. And you know what I'm so proud of? I use the trails a lot. I do a little bit of mountain biking. I don't like getting hurt, so mine's like, well, I'm going to walk that one.
Right.
But what I am so proud of is how well our trails are maintained throughout the year.
Right.
I see guys with these tires strapped to the back of them and walking through, like sludging through the snow, so the fat bikes can be able to use the trails.
And actually now we have the Dimba they're called snow dogs. They're like snow machines. I have been doing it and volunteering for Dimba, but it's really like the Dimba, the Durham Mountain Bike Association, that have been really doing a lot of the work on the trails, and so I have to give them huge kudos. And the grooming of the fat biking, which extends our season.
Right.
And the other challenge that we have around Uxbridge is that cross-country skiing, which used to be huge, and a lot of people participate in that. But with the sort of the thaws and our winters not being nearly as strong as they used to be, fat biking is something that you can do all winter long. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about, you have a race. You have a race. We have like 1 minute left to talk about this subject. We're going to have you on again. So you have a 24-hour mountain bike race.
So yeah, it's we actually call it, it's more like a festival. It attracts 2,600 riders every year. It's the largest participation mountain bike event in Canada, and it's at Albion Hills Conservation Area, so part of the TRCA, and chicoracing.com. We do everything from solos to 10-person teams. There's a kids event, there's bands, there's entertainment, so and a whole expo area. So it's a really cool mountain bike event.
Amazing. Okay, the website again?
chicoracing.com. CHICO.
And I understand that there's some amazing cyclists out there, or mountain bikers, that have been involved with your
they started
racing.
Yeah, so they started with our racing. Emily Batty, so Olympian, won the Pan Am Games, and Haley Smith, both sort of local residents that started in our events 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back, and we'll be talking to Adam more about some of the other exciting stuff that he's involved with. Keep on watching. We'll be right back.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. I wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
Have a hold on one at 15.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Hey, do you like movies? You know I do. That's why I see all of them. And if you want to know which ones you should see too, check out the latest Cinema Scene reviews and interviews. They're hot, fresh, and delicious, and they're online at rogerstv.com/cinemascene, popcorn not included. This offer is available everywhere. Tell your friends, be the first on your block to click rogerstv.com/cinemascene. It's so nice, we have to mention it twice.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So I have Adam Ruppel in the house, and we are now talking about some performance racing. We're going to talk about the Drive Festival.
Yep.
I didn't even know that there was a big Moss Park, which it used to be called Moss Park. What is it called now?
Mossport.
Mossport.
And now it's called Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And it was actually, so it's actually 900 acres. They've got multiple, like the Grand Prix track, which is the famous one, was used in Formula One events back in the 70s and 60s. And it's used for a lot of high-end car races right now. And then they also have a driver development track. There's also an off-road track. There's a go-kart track. It's a whole complex for people who love four wheels.
That's
driving.
amazing.
Yeah.
So you love 2 wheels and you love 4 wheels.
Yeah, I don't know what I like better, whether I like biking or I like performance driving or racing cars, but they're both passions of mine. So when I produce events, which is the way I make a living, I always try to do it out of passion, something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you might not put it this way, but I could see you like that adrenaline rush, right? When I think about mountain biking, that's really, it's technical. And same with car racing. It could be devastating if
yes,
you're
it can be. Actually,
accurate.
I don't know. I don't consider myself an adrenaline junkie, but it's a great way when you're involved in it. You kind of forget all your other problems. You have to be in on the moment, right? So when you're performance driving or you're racing cars, you don't think about anything else. And the same if you're racing bicycles or you're riding at a higher level, then it clears your mind.
So to be in the moment, you can either do yoga or race cars or mountain bikes.
Yeah, maybe I should try yoga. I have a couple times, but that sounds less. It sounds. I might not be flexible enough for yoga right now.
You can be any flexibility.
Right.
It's okay. But let's talk more about this Drive Festival. So how can people get involved?
So yeah, it's basically we have 3 different test tracks, a manufacturer test track, an off-road test track, and a performance test track. You can rent exotic cars on the, like Ferraris and Lamborghinis on the performance track. You can also test drive vehicles from, last year we had 10 different manufacturers involved with the event. And then we kind of pull the whole event together with this Dream Car Speed Run, where owners and of these super exotic and hypercars and exotic cars and vintage cars race them and drive them up the Dream Car Speed Run all weekend long. So we have like $5 million Paganis and LaFerraris driving in front of people. So you get to see these cars not only just sitting there, but yet the owners actually start them up and give them a little rip up the Dream Car Speed Run. So it's really a unique experience. And then we have like kids activities that go on. We had ride-alongs where you could go in and Kia EV6 GT, and they would do a launch pad, so take you up to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.3 seconds. So it's a rush to feel the acceleration of an EV. Off-road test track where you can test drive like Toyotas and Nissans and Kias on an off-road track. Yamaha would take people for rides in these really, really high-end side-by-sides. So like full off-road adventure. So it's a very experiential event.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
You know what made me think of? For the people that you have no idea what to get them as a gift. Like this could be a good 50th gift, 60th birthday gift.
Right.
For this experience, or even just gifting yourself.
Well, actually, the ticket prices are fairly low. So the experience that you could give is maybe rent them an exotic car at the track.
Oh, okay.
So you could rent them to drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini for 5 laps on a racetrack with a professional instructor. We have that ability. Or give them different experiences that happen at the event. But we had 25,000 attendees over 3 days last year. It was our, just this year. It was our 3rd year for the event, and we're aiming to get about 30,000 attendees next year.
Okay, and what's the date of the next event?
September 6th to 8th next year.
6th to 8th, okay.
Yeah.
And when do tickets start selling for that?
I think
in the summer?
February, March.
So that's soon. Okay.
Yeah, so at drivefestival.com, you can find more information about it there. And yeah, a lot of people don't know that we have this world-class facility just right next door. And
when your event is not taking place, can individuals just go and participate?
Well, there's other races that go on that weekend, and I actually teach performance driving with Drive Tech. They have different days, so people bring their own performance cars, so they bring their Corvette or their Camaro or their Porsche or their Ferrari or whatever, and we instruct them and we take them out and give them an experience to learn how to drive their car properly and in an enclosed racetrack.
Would you recommend I bring my Hyundai Veracruz? A small SUV.
You could. Now, if you had the Hyundai, the N cars, those would be perfect to bring to the track. A little more track-focused car than maybe the Veracruz. But so people can experience the track in many different ways. There's also race weekends that happen at CTMP.
What's the website for them to go to get more information about either your the Drive Festival that's happening in September, or
well, they could look up Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and they have like a full schedule of everything that's happening. But if you want more information on Drive Festival, then go to drivefestival.com. We're kind of separated, but we're friends.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much for being on the show, Adam.
Thanks for having me, Jackie.
So great. So we'll be back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts. A racist practice that may stop this Indigenous mother from going home with her newborn. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Welcome. Join me on the Rogers TV Durham for learning yoga in just 10 classes. My name is Sri. I'm a yoga teacher at Yoga Point, and it's my privilege to spend the next few weeks with you.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So at the end of the show, I like to offer some inspiration to provide you some maybe tidbits to think about to assist you with the energy of the week. I also at this time want to bring your attention to the screen about the various Remembrance Day ceremonies that are taking place across Durham region. So this is the listing of the different, and it's probably not all encompassing, but this is a list to help you to get yourself to a ceremony that will best work for you. So I have pulled a card, and the card I got for this week from my animal deck is the dove. So there it is right there, the dove, moving between cycles and worlds. So when I think about the dove, I think about the symbolism with peace, harmony, gentleness, love. And how we can apply this right now is it's really important for us to be making choices that will bring more harmony into our life, more peace into our life. And it is the time where we're integrating everything that we've learned in this lifetime and just revisiting it and potentially seeing things in a new light to create a more gentle, more harmonious reality. Choices that maybe you used to make could potentially be shifting. And in this process, you could also be healing your ancestral lineage, maybe patterns that your ancestors have had, maybe a grandmother, great-grandmother, different things that they would do or they would react to situations. You have an opportunity to change that. So find more peace and harmony within your life as you're making choices that make your heart sing, that make you feel good, that don't drain you, right? We can't sacrifice ourselves anymore. It's time for us to make choices for our highest and greatest good. Just like if you're in an airplane, you put on your oxygen mask first. If you should need to do that, and then you help someone else next. So you can build that energy by creating more harmony in your life. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with more next week on Uxbridge Scugog Life. Bye.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
You know, there's a lot more to the Oshawa Public Libraries than the 500,000 books and materials on for loan. I'll show you. This is the makerspace. This is where we build and create using new technologies. Another new offering is lynda.com, helping you unleash your personal and professional potential.
Welcome to Online Marketing Fundamentals.